One of the hottest topics concerning the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict is cryptocurrencies. In times of crisis, there is no good, there's only a best course of action, given the circumstances. Is crypto good in the context of Russia's invasion of Ukraine? Is it bad? Neutral? It's a hard question to answer. In the recent broadcast, this issue has been discussed extensively. So please, watch the video, share and like.
Well, I really think that people are seeing the benefits of this freedom technology that is Bitcoin. And look, I don't think that Putin will suddenly adopt Bitcoin for the country because his government wants ultimate control over money, just like all central banks. But I think this crisis is raising the profile for Bitcoin even more, which is already the dominant and most decentralized digital asset in existence. You might have heard Russia announce today that they're working on their own global currency for trade in response to these sanctions. Ukraine's government just a couple days ago were soliciting for Bitcoin donations. So, I mean, the transformation and really, in my opinion, the fracturing of the global monetary system is upon us. And I think we have to remember that the people that are most impacted by these conflicts, these monetary policies, are the working citizens of any country. The debasement of the currency, the inflation, and the ripple effects of these sanctions and war really hit those people, the working class, the hardest. And now with Bitcoin, we have a form of money that is a store of value that cannot be confiscated. It's borderless, it's permissionless, it's censorship resistant, and between those bank runs and ATM runs that we've seen in both Russia and Ukraine over the past few weeks, but also a few weeks ago the bank freezes in Canada, it's becoming clear that holding your money in a bank that's ultimately linked to the government that can freeze your assets and prevent you from accessing your savings when you need it the most, it's becoming more risky. We've seen it in democratic and authoritarian nations. So I think this is almost a commercial for Bitcoin playing on a global stage. I think what's important to know is that these transactions between Bitcoin wallets can't be stopped because, again, they're out of the purview of the government and any central authority. And I really think that we should all be paying attention to what's happening right now in Eastern Europe because, in effect, in my opinion, President Putin is shaking the very foundation upon which U.S. global dominance is built, which is that the U.S. dollar is the global reserve currency. We are the petrodollar. And if you dig into these sanctions, I heard earlier in the last segment, you'll see that energy is specifically carved out of those sanctions. But more importantly, Russia has almost been preparing for these types of sanctions and economic actions for years because they've beefed up their reserves with $600 billion in gold and foreign assets. They've been working on their own SWIFT system along with China. So they've been strategizing ways to ditch the dollar. We're understanding that they're moving to regulate as opposed to ban cryptocurrency. And President Putin announced in January that he recognizes his country's competitive advantage when it comes to Bitcoin mining because they're the center of so much energy. And so much of the hash rate, the computing power for Bitcoin is centered in Russia. So Putin is definitely playing a game of chess here, and it seems he's been calculating this move for years. He's been preparing his country financially. And what's sad is our monetary policies here in the U.S. allowed the dollar to become vulnerable to this. So again, people are looking for different ways, different safe havens, and Bitcoin is certainly one of them that you can move across borders with without anyone knowing how much you have.
But you've been saying the price is going to crash for, years now. I follow you on Twitter. I've been seeing what you've been saying. And I mean, if you look at the last 5 years, gold is actually up only around 39%. It's not really done anything, whereas Bitcoin is up 3,200%. Perhaps we live in this highly new era and a new time where my generation, millennials, actually do see value in something which is digital rather than something which is tangible. But you said Bitcoin isn't really doing anything. Right now, Bitcoin is actually saving people's lives. People are fleeing war-torn Ukraine. They're actually leaving to go to Poland. Are they taking their gold bullion bars? Absolutely not. And even if they did get to the border, people are absolutely corrupt. If they get to the border, authorities could say, sorry, can I have one of those gold bullion bars and only let you in that case. So you don't really want to be snuggling up with your Bitcoin. Nobody wants to know that you own Bitcoin. That's the fundamental value. You can flee tyranny, and right now you can flee lockdowns, you can flee vaccine mandates, whatever it is your government is throwing at you, you can flee that with the keys in your head. Nobody needs to know what you own, and I certainly will not be fleeing any kind of dangerous tyrannical government with gold bullion bars.